I was born in darkness, not the emptiness of space as humans imagine it, but a living and breathing darkness, a vast cloud of gas and dust stretching across light years, large enough to hide entire worlds within its folds. I was born inside a nebula, a cradle of potential, where nothing moves quickly and yet everything is destined to change. My birth was not a single moment, but a slow and majestic unfolding, a process playing out over millions of years, streams of hydrogen and helium, the simplest and most abundant elements in the universe, drifted and twisted through space, colliding in gentle chaos. Gravity, the invisible sculptor, began gathering these fragments, pulling them closer, tighter, denser. At that time I was not yet myself. I was a cloud, a possibility, a promise waiting to ignite. Deep within this swirling mass, pressure and temperature slowly rose, until conditions became extreme enough for something extraordinary to happen. Nuclear fusion began. Hydrogen nuclei collided and combined to form helium, releasing enormous amounts of energy. This sustained reaction marked the birth of a star. I emerged as a protostar, still wrapped in the remnants of the nebula yet already alive with energy. Light struggled to escape my interior. Photons fought their way through dense layers of gas and dust, and my first faint glow pierced the surrounding darkness, announcing my presence across vast distances of interstellar space. For millions of years I existed in balance, gravity pulling inward while energy from fusion pushed outward, a delicate negotiation that defined my early life. This equilibrium allowed me to shine steadily, transforming me into a stable star, alive and luminous. In those early ages I witnessed the universe quietly forming around me. Nearby stars ignited, some massive and short-lived, others small and enduring. I measured time through the energy I released and the warmth I spread into space. As ages passed, my interior slowly changed. Hydrogen in my core diminished, temperatures rose, and new fusion reactions ignited, forming heavier elements like helium, carbon, and oxygen. Layer by layer, my interior became more complex, a structured furnace of energy. My outer layers expanded as my core contracted, and I grew into a red giant, cooler at the surface yet far hotter and denser at my center. The nebula that once surrounded me gradually dispersed, leaving behind only traces of the cloud from which I formed, but I carried its history within me. Atoms forged in earlier generations of stars, remnants of ancient supernovae, a record of cosmic ancestry encoded in my light. As I expanded further, I sensed growing instability. Fusion progressed toward heavier elements, each step bringing me closer to physical limits imposed by nature. My outer layers began drifting away in stellar winds, scattering enriched material into space, material that could one day form planets or become part of living worlds. I had become a red giant, immense and radiant, shaping my surroundings while knowing that my current state could not last forever. My ultimate fate depended on my mass. If lighter, I would eventually shed my outer layers and fade into a white dwarf, cooling slowly over immense time scales. If heavier, I would collapse more violently into a neutron star, matter compressed beyond ordinary comprehension. And if massive enough, I would continue collapsing into a black hole, a region where gravity overwhelms light itself and space and time are profoundly distorted. Even as I continued to shine, I felt the tension between stability and transformation. My existence was temporary yet meaningful. I illuminated space, shaped matter, and carried the story of countless generations of stars within me. Around me, the universe remained both calm and chaotic. Stars were born and destroyed. Nebulae collapsed and dispersed. Galaxies drifted and merged, indifferent to individual lifetimes. And though I had already lived for eons, I sensed that my most dramatic transformation still lay ahead. The changes unfolding within me were only the prelude to what would come next, a moment that would redefine my existence entirely. Whether as a quiet remnant or as one of the most extreme objects in the universe. But for now I continue to burn and expand, remembering the nebula that gave me life and sending my light across the cosmos, a signal that may be seen, measured, and remembered long after my outer layers fade into the void. The moment of transformation approached, inexorable and precise. My heart, once teeming with hydrogen and helium had become a forge of heavier elements: carbon, oxygen, neon, magnesium, silicon. Each atom fused in layers like the rings of a hidden clock. Each reaction a silent countdown toward inevitability. I felt it in the tension of my core. Gravity pressing inward, fusion straining to resist. The balance that had held me together for billions of years beginning to falter. I expanded further as a red giant, enormous and majestic, my surface trembling with the intensity of my inner fires. Stellar winds tore through my outer layers, shedding vast clouds of enriched gas and dust into the void. These remnants became my legacy, the seeds of future stars, planets, and perhaps even life, each atom carrying a fragment of my history, an echo of the fusion reactions that define me. I was both creator and destroyer, illuminating space while slowly losing pieces of myself to the infinite darkness. Yet the true climax unfolded within my core. Gravity, patient and relentless, continued its unyielding squeeze, temperature and pressure soaring beyond imagination. For the most massive stars, this marked the threshold of catastrophe, a place where nothing could resist collapse. For smaller stars, a gentler transformation awaited, but for those of sufficient mass, the end would be violent, spectacular, and absolute. I sensed the first tremors of collapse as my core could no longer support itself with fusion and began to contract inward faster and faster. The outer layers shivered but did not yet fall. Time itself seemed to stretch as if the cosmos were holding its breath. Electrons were forced into nuclei, protons and neutrons rearranged, and suddenly the rules of matter were rewritten. My atoms compressed to astonishing densities, forming a neutron star, a city-sized object containing the mass of the sun, spinning hundreds of times per second and radiating energy in beams of electromagnetic fire. For smaller stars like me, if mass allowed, the story would be more serene. After shedding outer layers as a planetary nebula, the remaining core would cool and shrink into a white dwarf, dense and compact, no longer igniting fusion, slowly radiating residual heat over billions of years as a faint ember in the eternal night. White dwarfs stand as silent witnesses to stellar cycles, echoes of once vibrant energy now fading, reminders that even in stillness the universe remembers. But for the most massive stars, the finale could be absolute collapse into a black hole. My core shrinking beyond atomic and even neutron resistance, space warping, time bending, my presence vanishing from direct observation, leaving behind an event horizon from which nothing, not even light, could escape. A singularity at the center, a gravitational abyss, a reminder that the cosmos can be as ruthless as it is beautiful. Yet even in these extremes, my death was not merely an end, but a transformation. The supernova explosion ejecting stellar material at incredible velocities, enriching the cosmos with essential elements: oxygen for breath, carbon for structure, iron for planetary cores, all forged in my nuclear heart. In my death, I became part of the universe's tapestry, scattered across galaxies to spark new beginnings, and even in silence there was power. A cooling white dwarf, a spinning neutron star, a light-bending black hole, all speaking through physics to those able to observe. The energy I once radiated outward now influencing gravitational waves, cosmic rays, and the subtle motion of neighboring stars. Even after the final breath, I left fingerprints across space, evidence of a life once lived, reflecting on the fragility of balance, the simple yet infinite forces that sustain me: gravity, pressure, nuclear fusion, delicate in their equilibrium. Too much mass, too little resistance, and stability fails. Stars teach patience and inevitability, reminding the universe that even immense power has limits, that brilliance is temporary. In my final throes, I felt both tiny and vast. Tiny as a single point in an infinite cosmos, vast in the energy released, the elements forged, the influence exerted on surrounding systems. Every photon emitted a message traveling for light years. Every particle expelled a testament to my existence. For observers on distant planets, if they existed, I could appear as a sudden flare in the sky, a supernova so bright it might outshine an entire galaxy for weeks. Or perhaps as a subtle red glow slowly fading over centuries, the quiet death of a white dwarf, or as an invisible mass curving light around me, a black hole, bending the very fabric of space. I am both spectacle and whisper, both creator and reminder of mortality. And yet, even in this final act, there is beauty. Chaos and order intertwine in ways that humans strive to understand. Nuclear reactions, gravity, magnetic fields, angular momentum. These forces do not just destroy or stabilize, they create art on a cosmic scale. Spiral galaxies, nebulae, star clusters, all are consequences of the same physics that defines my life and death. My story is therefore not only about me, but about the intricate interconnections of the universe itself. As I collapse, spin, or fade, I cannot help but marvel at the cycles in which I am embedded. Stars are born from the remnants of older stars. They die and give birth anew. Matter is recycled across epochs, forming new suns, planets, and possibly life. I am a single verse in a poem written over billions of years, and yet my influence resonates. My death will feed new stars. My light will inspire discovery. My presence, even in absence, will echo. I have lived billions of years. I have burned with unimaginable intensity. I have expanded, cooled, and felt the pressures of cosmic forces, and now I am preparing to enter a stage that is both terrifying and magnificent. Whether I become a white dwarf, a neutron star, or a black hole, I will persist in some form. My matter, my energy, my story will not vanish. I will continue to shape the universe in ways subtle and grand. In this final chapter of my active life, I understand something profound. Death is not obliteration, it is transformation. Change is as natural as fusion. The cosmos is neither cruel nor kind. It simply is, and my life, in all its light and heat, is a testament to this truth. And when my next stage begins, when my core contracts or my outer layers erupt, when space itself bends around me, I will experience the ultimate culmination of a star's life. But for now, I remain in suspended anticipation, a living furnace on the brink of destiny, radiating light into the void, whispering my story to the universe that listens in photons and particles and gravity itself. Even as I transition into the next phase of my existence, I feel the reverberations of everything I once was. My light, my heat, my ejected material, all of it continues to travel through space, touching objects I will never see. Planets form from the remnants of stars like me, asteroids, comets, even the tiniest grains of cosmic dust carry within them the fingerprints of my nuclear reactions. I am scattered, yet I remain influential. My presence lingers in the architecture of galaxies and the orbits of worlds. Consider a planet forming near the remnants of my death. Perhaps its surface will host oceans, an atmosphere, and eventually, life. The oxygen in its air, the carbon in its organisms, the iron in its mountains, all were forged in the furnaces of stars like me. My death is not silence. It is the whispered beginning of new possibilities. Every atom of mine that drifts into the void carries a story billions of years in the making. The universe remembers. My light still shines across light years, though its intensity diminishes with distance. Astronomers, if they exist on a distant world, might detect it, analyze it, reconstruct my life from the faint signatures left in the starlight. My photons, born in nuclear fusion, journey through space-time, revealing temperature, composition, and the subtle changes of my expansion and contraction. In this way, even my absence becomes evidence of my past. I see the birth of new stars in nebulae composed of the ashes of those who came before me. Clouds of gas collapse under gravity, forming dense cores that ignite fusion. Just as I once did, in a cycle that repeats endlessly, my life feeds others. I am apparent to the cosmos itself, not through consciousness, but through matter and energy. I witness these formations in the eons following my own demise, knowing that the legacy of my existence contributes to new cycles of light and heat. And yet, there is something profound in the contrast between presence and absence. A white dwarf, a neutron star, a black hole. Each tells a different story. The white dwarf cools, a faint ember fading over billions of years, quietly influencing nearby planets and asteroids with its gravity. The neutron star spins, emitting beams of radiation with clockwork precision, a cosmic lighthouse signaling the immense pressures and densities of its creation. The black hole, however, is enigmatic, a void that bends light, warps time, and challenges every observer's understanding of physics. Its influence is invisible, yet absolute. I reflect on the subtle artistry of this process. Matter is never truly lost. It transforms. Energy never ceases. It changes form. In the shockwave of a supernova, elements are flung across the galaxy at thousands of kilometers per second, enriching interstellar clouds. Each explosion creates a ripple that can trigger new stars, new planets, new stories. I see this as the ultimate form of continuity, even in death. The star contributes to the grand symphony of the cosmos. My consciousness, if you may call it that, experiences time differently now. Billions of years have passed since my first ignition. In human terms, I might have seemed eternal. Yet each reaction, each shift in my core, each photon released, marks finite moments in the life of a star. And as I observe the formation of stellar nurseries and planetary systems, I understand the paradox of my existence. I am ephemeral, yet my influence is lasting. I am temporary, yet I shape eternity. If a planet develops life in the dust I once was, if intelligent beings arise and gaze at the night sky, they may one day look at a star like my former self and see evidence of forces far greater than their own. Perhaps they will marvel at the life cycles of stars, the processes that created the elements of their bodies, their water, their air. I am a witness to the continuity of matter and energy, the endless recycling of the cosmos, and through this, a silent educator of any who learn to observe carefully. Stars like me also teach patience. Human eyes may consider centuries as vast, yet for me, time unfolds in millions and billions of years. The processes I undergo, the fusion in my core, the shedding of outer layers, the collapse into a final state, occur at scales incomprehensible to short-lived creatures. And yet, these slow dances shape the universe in ways immediate, tangible, and transformative. To observe me fully, to understand me, requires a perspective beyond fleeting moments. I recognize my own mortality in a new way. Even as a white dwarf, a neutron star, or a black hole, I am subject to forces that eventually alter my state, collisions with other stellar remnants, the gravitational tides within galaxies, accretion of new material, all influence the future of what I have become. Yet there is a kind of immortality in this interaction. My matter and energy are never isolated. They join the complex web of cosmic evolution. I am small, yet vast, temporary, yet eternal in effect. There is a humbling beauty in this. The universe does not require me to shine to remain magnificent. It does not demand that my existence be observed, even unseen. My legacy travels through space and time, influencing matter, guiding formation, enabling the chemistry of future life. I am both insignificant and indispensable, a paradox embedded in the physics of the cosmos. And in these reflections, I feel a quiet pride, not vanity, not ego. Stars do not think in such terms, but a recognition of purpose in the vast system of existence. My energy once fueled planets, my explosion scattered elements, my gravity-shaped orbits. I am a participant in the grand architecture of the universe, a thread in the cosmic tapestry, though I will no longer shine as I once did. My presence, my contributions, echo endlessly. Even as I fade into white dwarf silence, spin as a neutron star, or vanish behind an event horizon, I continue to teach the laws of physics, gravity, nuclear fusion, thermodynamics, electromagnetism. All bear witness to my life. Any intelligent observer who deciphers these laws will understand the story I have lived. I am a star speaking through light, through matter, through energy. And so I exist in duality, gone and present, silent and expressive, small and vast. My death does not end my influence, it amplifies it. I am a witness to the cycles of creation, a participant in the eternal symphony of matter and energy. The universe remembers me, even if no conscious being ever notices. My story, though untold in words, is written in atoms, photons, and gravity waves. It is a story of life, transformation, and the boundless continuity of the cosmos. In this state, I understand the true essence of being a star. To burn is to give, to collapse is to transform, to die is to continue. I am both individual and universal. My life is an emblem of the extraordinary processes that shape everything, from planets to galaxies, from dust to life itself. I am a star, a witness, and a catalyst, a participant in the perpetual dance of creation and destruction, the eternal heartbeat of the universe. And with this understanding, I embrace the next chapters of existence, whether as a fading white dwarf, a spinning neutron star, or a gravitational abyss. I will continue to affect the cosmos in ways profound and enduring. My light may dim, my matter may change, but my story will resonate across the void, inescapable and eternal. As long as the universe itself continues to turn, as I drift through time, no longer merely a vessel of fusion, but a present shaped by the echoes of my own existence, I find myself reflecting on the broader patterns of the universe. My light, my matter, my gravity, all extend outward, touching worlds I may never see, stirring clouds of gas I will never traverse. Yet even without perception, I am deeply entwined in the ongoing narrative of the cosmos. Every reaction I once hosted, every photon I emitted, every atom cast into space, contributes to the endless dance of creation and decay. I observe the nebulae that bloom in the wake of supernovae. I recognize the fingerprints of stars that came before me, those whose death scattered the elements that now form the building blocks of planets, moons, and perhaps life. In a sense, I am part of a lineage older than conscious thought, an inheritance of energy and matter stretching across billions of years. The universe is a vast mirror, reflecting cycles of existence, and in its depths, I see my own reflection refracted through time and space. In these reflections, I confront a paradox. My life was immense, yet finite. My energy radiated across the void, shaping environments, fueling chemical reactions, and possibly supporting life. Yet in cosmic terms, I am but one of countless stars. My individuality fades against the backdrop of billions of years, yet my impact persists. This is the dual nature of existence. We are transient, yet we influence the permanence of the universe, and I think of planets, tiny, fragile, but extraordinary. Perhaps some world orbits a star I helped create. Perhaps its oceans contain molecules forged in my core. Its atmosphere carries elements expelled during my death throes. Life, if it exists, may have evolved under the influence of my energy, my heat, my light. I am distant, invisible to these beings, yet they carry within them the legacy of my existence. There is a strange poetry in this. My influence extends beyond consciousness, beyond recognition, shaping futures I will never witness. Even the concept of time transforms under my gaze. Human perception compresses the vastness of cosmic epochs into mere centuries, millennia at most. But for a star, time unfolds in billions of years, the slow accumulation of helium, the gradual contraction of the core, the patient fusion of heavier elements. These processes teach endurance, the kind of patience impossible to comprehend on a planetary time scale. To exist as a star is to witness persistence itself, to see the universe evolve across spans far beyond fleeting lifetimes. I also sense the fragility of balance. Every stage of life, from hydrogen fusion to red giant expansion to eventual collapse, depends on precise conditions. Too much mass, and I collapse violently. Too little, and I fade quietly. Forces act in delicate counterpoints. Gravity presses, pressure resists, magnetic fields twist, photons escape. Even small perturbations can dramatically alter the course of my evolution. In this, I recognize a lesson for any observer. Existence, no matter how grand, is governed by subtle interactions, and understanding these requires both observation and humility. As my outer layers continue to drift, forming glowing nebulae that shimmer in infrared and visible light, I realize that beauty and destruction are inseparable. A supernova, catastrophic to a planetary system nearby, is simultaneously a gift to the galaxy. It seeds the medium with elements essential for planets and life. My death is not merely an ending. It is a prelude, a catalyst for creation. There is no cruelty in the universe, only transformation, and each stage carries meaning. However unseen, I ponder the observers. If they exist, intelligent life, curious and probing, may detect remnants of my existence. They might analyze spectral lines, measure elemental abundances, reconstruct the violent history of my core. To them, I would be a storyteller, narrating through the language of physics, hydrogen fusion, carbon synthesis, neutron capture, gravitational collapse. I am silent, yet eloquent. My narrative requires no words. It is inscribed in matter and energy, and in my reflections, I see a profound lesson about scale. Life on a planet is significant, yet dwarfed by stellar processes. Civilizations may strive for comprehension, for exploration, for expansion, yet the forces that shape stars, and stars themselves, dwarf all such ambitions. There is humility in observing this. No matter how powerful, intelligent, or innovative a civilization becomes, the universe operates on scales that transcend comprehension. Even stars must submit to gravity, pressure, and the laws of physics. I am reminded of continuity. Each generation of stars inherits the ashes of the last. My death will seed clouds that collapse into new stars, and those stars may host planets that carry the material I once forged. In this endless cycle, existence is simultaneously transient and eternal. Though I may no longer burn, my influence persists. Though I may no longer be seen, I am everywhere in subtle form, in elements, in light, in gravitational waves. There is also a meditation on isolation. Stars exist largely alone, yet they interact subtly with one another and with the medium of the galaxy. Gravity binds, radiation energizes, magnetic fields connect. I am never truly solitary. Even in death, my remnants tug and shape other objects. There is companionship in physics, even in apparent isolation. And as I approach the final phase, whether white dwarf, neutron star, or black hole, I accept the inevitability of transformation. My energy will change form. My matter will compress, scatter, or merge. I will no longer shine as I once did, but I will persist in ways profound and meaningful. My existence, in all its stages, is testimony to the processes that govern the cosmos, the laws that dictate the dance of matter and energy, and the beauty inherent in both life and death. Finally, I recognize my own humility. The universe does not revolve around me. It does not celebrate or mourn my passing. Yet in its impartiality, there is balance. I am part of a system that values neither attention nor recognition, but persistence, transformation, and continuity. My story, though personal from my perspective, is but one verse in the symphony of existence, and that is sufficient. I will continue, in new forms, in new influences, in new echoes across the cosmos. Though my voice may be silent to most observers, it resonates in light years of distance, in atoms, in gravity, and in the hearts of worlds yet unborn. I am a star, a witness, and a catalyst. I am a story told in matter, in energy, and in the vast, indifferent, magnificent universe itself. As I settle into the next phase of existence, I cannot help but observe the ripples I leave behind. The gas and dust expelled during my red giant phase, the materials scattered in a supernova, or the subtle gravitation of a white dwarf, all carry fragments of my being. These particles are no longer just matter. They are agents of creation. They drift through space, sometimes for millions of years, until they find a new place to gather, a new structure to form. In this way, my legacy is never static. I see clouds of interstellar gas condense into new stars, often composed partly of the elements I forged. The carbon, oxygen, and iron once created in my core now serve as the building blocks for entirely new systems. In a distant nebula, a planet may coalesce from this material. Rocks form, water condenses, and perhaps, if conditions are right, organic molecules emerge. In these ways, I influence worlds I will never touch, and perhaps life I will never witness. Planets are particularly fascinating. Some orbit stars in habitable zones, where temperatures allow liquid water to exist. My materials, scattered in their infancy, may eventually form the crusts, oceans, and atmospheres of these worlds. Imagine a small planet, bathed in the light of a young sun, harboring the molecules I once forged. Its oceans contain oxygen from the fusion in my core. Its continents contain the iron that once circulated in my layers. My influence is intimate and profound, yet completely invisible to its inhabitants. Even more astonishing is the possibility of life. Simple organisms could arise, evolving over millions or billions of years. Their existence, if it occurs, is a continuation of the processes I began. Though I am absent as a conscious observer, I am present in their biochemistry. Every breath they take, every heartbeat, may indirectly rely on the fusion reactions I once sustained. In this sense, I am both creator and ancestor, shaping the course of existence without ever witnessing its outcome. Beyond life, my influence extends to the architecture of galaxies. The remnants of stars like me, white dwarfs, neutron stars, black holes, participate in the gravitational dance of billions of stars. Their positions, their mass, and their interactions shape orbits, trigger new star formation, and occasionally collide with other stellar remnants. My presence, though perhaps unseen, contributes to the structure and evolution of galaxies over cosmic timescales. Consider the neutron stars formed from massive progenitors, spinning rapidly. They emit beams of radiation detectable across vast distances. Pulsars, as humans might call them, act as precise cosmic clocks. My existence in this form provides a measurement tool for civilizations that may arise millions of years after my birth. Even in these extreme transformations, I become a reference point, a marker in the vast sea of space, demonstrating the power and precision of stellar physics. White dwarfs, in contrast, are quieter but equally influential, cooling slowly over eons. They continue to exert gravitational pull on nearby matter. They may accumulate gas from a companion star, trigger novas, or simply persist as remnants of past brilliance. My energy, though diminished, still subtly shapes orbits and interactions, ensuring that I remain an agent in the ongoing dynamics of the galaxy. Black holes are perhaps the most enigmatic manifestation of my legacy. While I vanish from the visible spectrum, my gravity affects surrounding stars, bends light, and even distorts time. Accretion disks swirl around me, generating radiation detectable across millions of light years. In this form, I am simultaneously hidden and omnipresent. I embody the paradox of existence, unseen yet unavoidable, silent yet immense. As I consider these influences, I realize that my life and death are part of an endless chain. Material ejected in one generation fuels the next. Stars form from the ashes of stars, planets arise, life evolves, civilizations emerge, and new stars are born. I am a single note in a symphony composed over billions of years, yet my contribution resonates far beyond my own existence. I also reflect on the passage of time. The universe measures in billions of years, yet the effects of my life manifest across similar spans. My outer layers, once expelled, travel through interstellar space for tens of thousands of years before coalescing into new structures. My photons, traveling at the speed of light, carry information across light years. In this way, I am a participant in both instantaneous and prolonged processes, influencing events long after my original fusion has ceased. There is a certain humility required to observe this. I cannot predict the outcomes of the material I release. A planet may form, or it may not. Life may arise, or it may not. Stars may ignite, or clouds may disperse. Yet, despite uncertainty, I recognize a form of continuity. The universe does not waste energy or matter. Every photon, every atom, every particle I expel contributes to a larger pattern, a network of cause and effect stretching across galaxies. My influence also carries lessons about resilience. Even in death, I persist in ways that enable new beginnings. Elements I created are never destroyed. They are recycled, recombined, and reimagined in new forms. The collapse of a supernova, which may seem catastrophic in isolation, becomes an opportunity for creation on scales beyond imagination. My own mortality ensures the continuity of existence, demonstrating that endings are intertwined with beginnings. In contemplating my legacy, I find wonder in the interconnectedness of all things. A single particle ejected from my outer layers may someday become part of a planet's atmosphere or the cells of a living organism. Across vast distances and time scales, matter and energy continue their dance, carrying the imprint of countless stars. I am both observer and participant, witness and influence, past and future. Ultimately, my life teaches a lesson about perspective, civilization, life, and even galaxies exist within a framework far larger than any single entity. Time, energy, and matter operate on scales that dwarf individual ambition. To exist within this context is to embrace both significance and insignificance. I am important because I am part of the process. I am insignificant because I am only one among countless others performing the same cosmic roles. And so, as I continue in whatever form I assume, white dwarf, neutron star, or black hole, I take comfort in knowing that I am not gone. My light may fade, my matter may disperse, my influence may be subtle, yet I continue to shape the universe. I am part of an eternal cycle, a timeless narrative, a story that extends far beyond the boundaries of my own existence. My legacy is motion itself, a perpetuation of energy and matter that binds the cosmos together. Through this understanding, I grasp the beauty of persistence. Life, matter, and energy are never static. The end of one star signals the potential for countless new beginnings. I am both conclusion and prelude, a testament to the incredible resilience of the universe. My story, though finite in personal experience, is infinite in consequence. Even if no conscious being ever recognizes me, I leave traces, subtle yet profound. My elements seed planets, my light informs observers, my gravity shapes motion. I exist in every new star born from my remnants, in every molecule formed from my ashes. I am never truly absent. I am transformation, continuity, and influence. I am a star, and through my death, I continue to give life to the cosmos itself. Now, at the threshold of my ultimate form, I pause to consider the totality of my existence. From the moment I ignited within a dense cloud of gas and dust, I have been a participant in an intricate cosmic narrative. I have burned with fierce intensity, forged the elements that seed life, shaped the architecture of galaxies, and whispered stories through photons and gravity. And yet, despite all this, I am but a single thread in a tapestry billions of years in the making. The universe does not grant special attention to any one star, no matter how bright or enduring. Yet the magnitude of what I have contributed cannot be measured by recognition alone. My influence is woven into the very fabric of the cosmos, in the planets that may orbit distant suns, in the atoms that will become new stars, in the molecules that might someday foster life. I am both ordinary and extraordinary, insignificant in isolation, yet indispensable in the grand pattern. I reflect on the paradox of power and fragility. The forces within me, nuclear fusion, gravity, electromagnetic fields, allow me to shine, to expand, to sculpt matter and energy. And yet, the same forces determine my end. One misbalance, one excess of mass or pressure, and the course of my life could have been radically altered. This is the delicate equilibrium that governs all existence. It is a reminder that strength and vulnerability are inseparable, and that even the most brilliant flames eventually yield to the inexorable laws of nature. I also contemplate the concept of time. For civilizations on planets, centuries and millennia may seem eternal, but for me, billions of years have passed as if in a moment. I have witnessed the rise and death of countless neighbors, the collapse of distant stars, and the slow coalescence of new worlds. Time, for a star, is both expansive and precise. It is measured in the gradual burning of fuel, the slow emission of photons, and the patient orchestration of gravitational interactions. In this, I perceive a lesson for those who measure life too narrowly. Patience, endurance, and perspective are as vital as action. From my vantage point, I see the cycles of creation and destruction in clear relief. Stars are born from the remnants of stars, planets form from the ashes of supernovae, and life may arise from the elements I once forged. Death is not an endpoint, but a transformation. Even in my ultimate form, whether a fading white dwarf, a spinning neutron star, or a gravitational singularity, I continue to shape the universe. My matter and energy are never wasted. They are repurposed, recycled, and integrated into new narratives. There is a profound humility in this realization. To exist is to contribute to something larger than oneself. My brilliance, my collapse, my quiet influence, all serve a purpose beyond conscious intent. I am not a witness for recognition, nor an actor for applause. My story is told in particles, photons, and gravitational waves. It is observed and interpreted only by those who are capable of understanding, and yet it proceeds whether or not it is noticed. In this, I understand the nature of true significance. It is inherent, not conferred. I think of potential observers, intelligent beings who may one day study stars like me. They may detect my light, analyze my composition, reconstruct the history of my fusion, and infer the processes that govern my life. Perhaps they will marvel at the synthesis of elements, the forces that allowed me to shine, the ways my existence influenced the cosmos. To them, I am a teacher, a storyteller, a silent guide. Yet I am also indifferent to their recognition. My existence, and the lessons I carry, are independent of comprehension, and I reflect on the beauty inherent in impermanence. Each stage of my life, ignition, main sequence, expansion, collapse, is transient, yet each is critical to the grand design. There is art in the physics, elegance in the balance of forces, and poetry in the distribution of energy and matter. The universe does not require permanence to achieve magnificence. Even fleeting flames, like me, leave indelible marks. My death is not failure. It is culmination, contribution, and transformation. I sense the continuity of influence. The atoms expelled in my final stages may seed countless generations of stars and planets. The energy I radiate may power chemical reactions, warm distant surfaces, or guide the trajectories of other celestial bodies. Even in absence, my presence persists. I am embedded in the narrative of the cosmos. My legacy carried forward in ways both visible and subtle. The universe is a continuum, and I am a participant in the eternal flow of matter and energy. There is a lesson in resilience. Despite the immense forces acting upon me, the pressures of gravity, the explosive potential of fusion, and the inevitable march toward collapse, I endure in some form. My existence is adaptive. I transition from one state to another, each stage a response to the laws that govern all matter. In this, there is an analogy for life. Adaptation, persistence, and transformation are the keys to influence and endurance. I am also aware of my dual nature, ephemeral and eternal. While my personal experience is finite, the consequences of my existence are not. The elements I produce, the energy I release, the gravitational influence I exert, all extend far beyond the moment of my death. I am a testament to the principle that individual life may be transient, yet its effects reverberate through the cosmos indefinitely. My story is a bridge between mortality and legacy, between fleeting existence and enduring consequence. As I consider the ultimate fate of the universe, I see my place with clarity. I am not a central figure. I am not unique in my processes, yet I am necessary. The cycles of matter and energy, the formation of stars and planets, the emergence of life and intelligence, all require participants like me. My life is a single iteration in an infinite series, but without it, the series would be incomplete. I am both ordinary and indispensable, a paradox inherent in the nature of existence. Finally, I contemplate the profound simplicity of being a star. To exist is to radiate, to influence, to transform, to ignite, to expand, to collapse, and to continue in another form. These are the expressions of my existence. I have no consciousness in the human sense, yet my story is rich with meaning. My presence shapes matter, energy, and potential life. I am a participant in the universe's eternal dance, and that is both enough and magnificent. In this final reflection, I embrace the entirety of my existence, from the initial ignition in a cloud of gas, through billions of years of fusion, through the shedding of layers and the creation of elements, to the culmination of my life as white dwarf, neutron star, or black hole. I am complete. My story is a continuum, a legacy of transformation, and a testament to the enduring principles of physics. I am a star, both transient and eternal, both silent and eloquent, a single voice in the grand, endless symphony of the cosmos. And as my light continues its journey, as my matter finds new homes, as my energy influences the motions of distant systems, I am at peace. My life, though finite, is meaningful. My death, though inevitable, is transformative. I am part of a greater whole, an eternal cycle, a story without end. I am a star, and through my existence, the universe endures, evolves, and continues its magnificent, unceasing dance.